Now, how about working with something called scatter brushes? Scatter brushes are pretty cool. Probably the easiest way to show you this is I'm going to get you to draw yet again another freehand line. Now, I don't want my text sort of cascading down this path here. In fact, what I'll do is I'll use the good old remove brush stroke button here at the bottom of the brushes palette. And rather than using my calligraphy brushes, rather than using my artistic brushes, I'm going to go to Illustrator's window menu and all the way down to brush libraries. And I'll go into decorative, and I've got decorative scatter. Now you might be thinking, what the heck is this? Well, it's easier for you to see it than for me to try and explain it. So I have my path selected back on my artboard. I can single click on any of these scatter brushes here and you can see what's happening here. The shapes are simply following the path all the way along. Now it looks kind of cool on a path. Let's try it on a closed Illustrator shape. So I'm going to get rid of this guy here. And maybe I want some kind of a border for a project I'm working on, maybe some kind of an invitation or something like this. Done in just a few seconds. Something like that, whatever I like. That's the idea behind a scatter brush, is it's basically taking a single object. Think of it almost as like clip art, although I hate to use the word clip art and Illustrator in the same breath. But it's sort of that idea. It's just going to repeat that object or that set of objects over and over and over. It's pretty cool stuff. Now, what if you want to make your own? That's no problem at all. I'll get rid of this shape here. And now I've got to come up with some kind of an idea for my own scatter brush. Now what I'm kind of thinking, and this might be a little bit adventurous here, but I'm thinking of some kind of a gear wheel or like a gyro or something like that. So how would I do that? Well, I'm just going to use some very simple shapes here in Illustrator. I'll give myself a rectangle and I'll fill it with some gray. And I'll get rid of my stroke. I'll just hit the X key on my keyboard and then I'll hit my / key to get rid of my stroke. I'll take this guy and copy him and then paste him in front. Rotate him around. I'm holding down Shift so that I get the 90 degrees perfect there. I'll copy him and paste him in front again. This time I want the 45 and I'll do that one more time. Paste in front there. Hold down Shift and get the next 45. There it is. It's kind of looking like a gyro, but it's not perfect yet. I'll go and grab my ellipse tool here, and I'll click and drag out a circle. I'm drawing from the center, by the way, just by holding down Alt on the PC or Option on the Mac. There, that's looking a little bit better. I'll grab the whole thing, and using my alignment buttons up on my control bar, I'll make sure that everything's horizontally aligned and also vertically aligned, all by center. I'll take the works, and then over in my Pathfinder palette, I'll add to shape area, weld everything together, and then expand it. So now it's one single object there. Now that's a fast gyro. Take your Pathfinder, drop it back over on the right if you moved it over. There it is. Now, maybe I'll put my stroke back on my gyro. And then maybe I'll set my fill color to orange for 1. And maybe I need a second gyro that's going to be blue. And maybe a third gyro that's going to be red. You can scale them and rotate them and sort of set them up however you want them. Say I'll have something like this. I'm going to do one more small gyro over here, I've decided. I'll make this guy green. Fantastic. I'll grab the works. Just like before, I'm going to drag all the objects together into Illustrator's brushes palette. Illustrator says, what kind of brush do you want? I want the first one here, a scatter brush. Okay, here it is. Now I can give this guy a name if I want. I'll call it Jeff's Gyros. I can adjust my size, spacing, scatter percentage, rotation percentage, again using my menus here if I want. You saw this earlier with the art brushes. I also have my colorization options as well. I'm going to leave all the defaults here. I'll click on OK. I can see my scatter brush gets added to the brushes palette, Jeff's Gyros. Now for the moment of truth. I can use my brush tool if I want, or a closed shape to get that kind of an effect. Now, they look a little bit more like fancy snowflakes to me. But anyway, that's the idea. That's how it would work. Something like that. Or if I want, I'll grab everything here and get rid of them. And maybe I decide that I want to use my gyros on some kind of a closed shape. Something like that. Pretty cool stuff.